Hello, you divine infinite human beings. You're all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. Your divine infinite love, your divine infinite truth, your divine infinite source. And I want to talk to you today about dogs, or in reverse, God. Because they certainly are a little piece of God. And this is my Kiki. Say hi, Kiki. Kiki has saved my life I don't know how many times with her love. And a lot of you out there perhaps know Kiki from my videos or you've met her in person. And she's famous. In fact, when I met, the first day I got her, I was up all night and I had forgotten, but I had one of my first psychic fairs where I was reading, for people intuitively. And there was a animal communicator there who we interviewed actually on this channel, Gina Billings, and she read for Kiki. She had a session with Kiki, and Kiki just talked her head off, told her all about us, how we had been together in a past life, and Kiki had been a human and several times, but she hated being human. She thought it was so boring. And she'd been, actually I think she'd been my servant before, a slave, in Macedonia in ancient times. And she decided to come this time, like she's talking because she knows I'm telling her story. She decided to be with me on this very special time. She's a grid worker, which means she does a lot of energy work with me. She's my familiar, I guess, kind of like if you're going to think of the old magic times. We've been together many, many lifetimes, and she's a divine soul. It's actually very evolved soul who has chosen to incarnate. That's a dog, because she thinks being human is boring. She likes to play and love everybody unconditionally, and she thinks we humans just don't do that enough. So that's part of her message, to always, always, always love anyone, no matter what they do to you, to always offer them love unconditionally, and to always look to play, an opportunity to play, to have a good time, to enjoy things. Right, Kiki? Did I get your message pretty well? Yeah, she's very thirsty. She's kind of hot. But there's a nice breeze, so she's okay. She loves the beach. I take her swimming on my little board, She likes to swim and walk on the beach. And we're inseparable. We're always together. She's actually my service dog. So I just think a lot of you out there can relate to what I'm saying, because I think dogs, there's no coincidence that in this mixed up world in which we live, where, up is down, where healthcare, kills, where, doctors hand out poison, where education doesn't teach, or, it indoctrinates, and, where even the North Pole is the South Pole. Dog, spelled in reverse, is God. So I think they're little pieces of God, as we all are, but I think they're here, especially for many of us star seeds, who, especially in these times, we miss, especially I think women. I'll be perfectly honest, I did intuitive readings all over the country and on the lines too, on the phone lines for people in the United States and England. And most of them are women that are looking for their soulmate, their twin soul. And it just doesn't really happen very often. I was fortunate, and I write about my relationship in my book, The Infinite Human, all about it. But a lot of times we're either finding our false twin, and some of us get stuck in that, or we just haven't been able to come together for whatever reasons with our true twin, or we're not able to be with them right now. So, hey, gods are the best. I mean, dogs, gods. I remember when I moved to Italy, I was, feeling really lonely, and I asked my landlord in Florence if I could get a dog. And he said, well, why don't you just get a boyfriend, They're the same, they follow you around. I'll tell you, between the two, boyfriends are a lot more trouble. So, for any of you women who are missing, your twin soul, or longing for a relationship of unconditional love, devotion, loyalty, fidelity, definitely, I would say, find the right person and let them choose you. Kiki chose me. Kiki chose me and she was waiting for me, so they come to you in many different ways. I found Kiki, I'll be honest, in a pet store. I tried to adopt, couldn't find one, and I rescued her from this pet store actually because it was very traumatic for her. So, you know, don't be led. Allow that pet to come into your life, and if they leave, they'll always with you, and they also came back, because actually I had a really horrible experience as a child where where Kiki, she was Kiki then, she was killed in front of me, and you know, it's very traumatic, and she came back when the time was right, and I had to wait for her a very long time, but she came just when I needed her most, when I was the most alone. I was living with my family, and I was, you know, trying to take care of my mother, and she had dementia, and she was very abusive, and my brothers were abusive, and I really needed a friend. Let me just put it to you that way. So, you know, and I was just, one last thing, Shirley MacLaine, who wrote Out on a Limb, I don't know if any of you are familiar with it, and if you haven't, see the movie, it's on YouTube for free, it's Out on a Limb. It's a very spiritual journey. And I listened to her book, I haven't heard it, but it's called Out on a Leash, and she talks about how, you know, this little dog she has stole her heart, and they certainly do. So, you know, if you have a dog, love it, and just be so grateful to it. And if you don't, open yourself up to letting them come in, because they're great companions for starseeds right now as we do our energetic grid work, and we have to spend a lot of time actually alone before we find our starseeds in the higher dimensions, and we're not with our twin souls, so it's a challenging time right now. And you know, that's why Kiki's here. She's here to help her mommy. All right, ciao for now.